Alright guys, so mountain coders looked like this at this point, and it is really amazing to see that we were able to create a blog of this quality in such a short span of time, and it really looks good. But now is the time to move towards deployment of this blog. Now, why is deployment important when you are creating a blog with Django or some other website? It is because this is how you get onboarded. This is how your business gets onboarded. If you are creating an e-commerce website or even a blog for that matter, it is really important for you to get the deployment right. Otherwise, your users will see severe downtime, which might affect you indirectly or directly. So let's see how we can move towards deployment. We have already seen how we structure this, how we create the blog, how we add the post. Now is the time to deploy this blog. So let's get started. So what I'll do is I'll click on blog, and I just want to fix few things before we move towards the deployment. And those things are, I just want to add some minimum height. I think I've already done that in contact page. So let's see how we have done that. So I just want to add the style to all the pages. I want to have this container to have a minimum height of 90 viewport height. So VH is the unit which stands for viewport height. So let's add the same thing to our blog post page as well. So I think we need to add it inside a blog CSS. I like to call it more CSS so that it is very clear where I'm adding the CSS, but you can call your blog with whatever name you want. So I'm calling my blog as CSS. I'm calling this blog as blog active. So that's your choice. Okay, so I think this will fix this height issue. So let me reload this, and yes, it indeed fixes this height issue. Most of the time the content of a blog is going to get past this 100 VH limit, so we'll not see any issues if we deploy it as is without adding the style. But I think if we add the style, it's better for us. Okay, enough of talks. I can see this none to here. I think I have added some print statements, which is not a good practice, by the way. So let me come back to views and let me see if I can get rid of these print statements. Yeah, so I've printed this previous and next. I should get rid of them. I don't want to see any nasty statements here. I don't want to see anything strange in my logs later. Okay, so I think I have fixed that. It has not yet loaded. Okay, it has loaded now. So let me reload this and let me see if it's gone. Yes, it is. So let us create a virtual environment. Now, what is a virtual environment? Virtual environment is an isolated environment for your app. So let us say you are deploying your Django app in a VM. Inside that VM, you might do something else with Python 3.8, let us say, and let us say this Django blog is deployed using Python 3.5. Now, Python 3.5 doesn't support f-strings, and Python 3.8 supports f-strings. Let us say you want to use f-strings in some other project and you install Python 3.8 for that. Now what will happen? If you upgrade your Python to 3.8, this app will stop working. Why? Now let us assume there is a feature which is present in Python 3.5, but it is not present in Python 3.8. It has been deprecated. You will face some issues. So how do you isolate all the Python packages and create a new environment, a separate environment just for this Django app? It is achieved using virtual environment. So let us see how virtual environment works. If you haven't accessed my Python playlist, I think you should do that. If you don't know virtual environment and you want to learn Python, I have talked about virtual environments, if I'm not wrong. I've talked about the virtual environment in some of these videos. You'll have to find it. Just watch it from the starting. This is a Python course you should definitely be accessing. Let us now come back to our terminal. Now I'm using Git Bash, okay, and I use Git Bash on Windows because it gives me look and feel of Windows terminal. I'm sorry, Linux terminal. So if you're already on Linux, then you will definitely be seeing some other terminal. You will see this $. But if you're using Windows PowerShell, there is this minor change that I'll be telling you. But let us start installing virtual env. So you can say pip install virtual environment. I think it's virtual env if I'm not wrong. I think it's virtual env. Yes, it is virtual env. So it's already there for me, but it will install for you if it's not there for you. Now you can say virtual env, and I like to call my virtual environments as my project env. You can call it whatever you want. You can call it Harry, you can call it Sam, you can call it Rohan, you can call it whatever you want. I'm calling it my project env for no good reason. I'm just choosing a random name and calling it as my project env. As soon as you fire this command, what happens is a project gets created here, my project env. And this is your Python environment, which is isolated from your, say, global Python interpreter or some other virtual environment from some other project. What I mean by this is my project env is a Python interpreter which I have spawned off my systems interpreter, and now I'm going to use this my project env as a virtual environment. This is a separate environment for this app. Even if I install Django from my, say, base Python interpreter, which is on my local disk C and Python 3.8, even if I uninstall Django from there, it is not going to affect me in any way because I am using a virtual environment which is isolated. So let us see how to activate this virtual environment, because I'm still using my system interpreter. So I need to tell my terminal, hey terminal, I want to use this my project env. I no longer want to use my global Python interpreter. Switch settings such that whenever I say pip install, you should install to this my project env. So for that you say source my project env scripts and activate. This will activate your virtual environment. Now I am using git bash. Okay, make sure you have git bash if you are firing this command. But if you are on PowerShell, then you should be using a command like this, my project env, and then scripts, and then activate.ps1. This is the command for activating a virtual environment inside your Windows PowerShell. So if you are not using PowerShell and you are using git bash, you can follow me. But if you are using Windows PowerShell, this is the command. Okay, this is the command for Windows PowerShell. Make sure, and you then note that there is no source here. Okay, let me press Ctrl C. Now I already have my project env environment activated. How do I know this? I know this because I see this my project env written inside the parentheses here. Okay, all right, so far so good. Let us now start firing pip install Django, because we don't have Django installed inside this my project env. My Django has started installing, but at the same time what I'll do is I'll create a new file called requirements.txt. What is requirements.txt and why did I create this? I created this requirements.txt so that I can note all these packages inside this requirements.txt, and in the future, if at all I want to replicate this environment, if I want to create this virtual environment once again, I know which packages were installed inside this virtual environment, and I can refer to this requirements.txt. There is a command as well which will install all the packages from a given requirements.txt. We'll talk about that. Let it install. So it has installed Django. So I'll simply say Django, but at the same time I'll also note down the version of Django that I installed. So I'll say double equals to, and then I'll note down the version of Django, which is 3.0.8. So I'm saying install Django version number 3.0.8. Is there anything else that I need to install? Let me peek into my views.py. I don't think I have used any other package. So if you're using any external package like pandas, numpy, let us assume we are using pandas. I'm not using it, but let us assume we are using it. I'll simply say pip install pandas. So it is installing pandas. Let it install pandas. We'll give it its time, and once pandas is installed, we'll note down the version of pandas that it has installed. So come on. I don't know why it's so slow. It used to install very fast previously. I don't know why it's getting slow. I think my machine is getting slower day by day. I need to upgrade maybe. Okay, so let me find out the version of pandas. So it's 1.0.5. I'll simply say double equals to, and I'll paste the version number. Okay, now we have these two packages inside our virtual environment. Now if you want to get out of your virtual environment, you can use this deactivate command, and this will take you out of your virtual environment. Now, why did I make this requirements.txt? You must be thinking, why did we node these packages? We noted these packages so that we can recreate this my project env. Are you getting it? Let us say I delete this and I'm pressing delete. You must be thinking, hey, don't do that. But no, I'm deleting it. I deleted it. Okay. As you saw, I deleted my project env. So if I try to activate this, it will not activate. It will say there is no directory called my project env. So what I'll do is I'll recreate this my project env. Now you don't have to do it. You don't have to delete it. I deleted it just to show you how we can quickly recreate the environment with the same packages using requirements.txt. So we have this my project env back. Now what I'll do is I'll say pip install -r. -r means install from this file, take all the packages which are there inside this file and simply install them one by one. So if I press enter, it will collect all these packages from requirements.txt file and you'll start installing it in wherever environment you are. If you are inside your virtual environment, it will start installing these packages in your virtual environment. If you are in your system interpreter, it will install all these packages inside your system interpreter. So it depends upon where you are. So it is installing these packages for me. I hope I activated my virtual environment. I didn't activate my virtual environments. My bad. I should have activated my virtual environment. So this is a mistake I made, by the way. I fired this command without activating the virtual environment. So it's actually installing all these packages in my global system interpreter, but that's fine. Let it do it. Let it do it. What I'll do is I'll simply go to my command history and I'll activate this virtual environment. Now if I install pip install -r requirements.txt, once I fire this command, now all these packages will be installed in this environment. Previously I didn't had this environment activated. So it installed all the packages from requirements.txt on my system interpreter. Okay, so let us wait for these packages to install, and once these packages are installed, we have our my project env ready. And once we activate our my project env, we can start using our Django app. We can start firing python manage.py run server. It will definitely create a server for us, and we'll look into all these things. So I'm just waiting for this to finish. Come on, come on, come on. And what I'll do is I already have this my project env activated. I'll simply fire python manage.py run server and it will start a development server at 8,000. Okay, now it is about to be finished. I think I should pause the video and come back once it is finished. I don't know why, but it really took some time for it to complete. I think my PC has gotten very slow. If you have some good hardware configuration, maybe you'll be able to install it very fast, at least faster than me. Now what I'll do is I have this project, my project env activated. What I'll do is I'll say python manage.py run server and it will start the development server. So let me click on this and then let me click on blog, contact, home, blog, contact. It works as expected. I just want to make a change. I want to change this color to BTN primary. So I want to come back to my templates, base.html, and I just want to replace the success with primary. Control S to save, and let me reload this. And yes, it looks fine. I think I should not make it outline. I should make it darker version of this. So instead of BTN outline primary, these are all bootstrap classes, by the way. We have talked a lot about bootstrap, so I think it should not be a problem for you at this point. I'll come back to blog, and now the color of our blog is kind of bluish, so it looks fine. I think it looks way better than before, and I think it is ready for deployment now. Let us go back to our terminal and see how we are going to deploy this. Okay, so the very first step that you should be taking before deploying is pushing your blog to Git. Now Git is something that makes a lot of developers uncomfortable, but people who really know how to use Git, they really love Git, and I personally really love Git. I don't know how I would have managed had there been no Git. So create a file called .git ignore. If you don't know what Git is, no need to worry. Seriously, it's super simple. I'll show you how simple it is. So you just have to say .git ignore, and I'll put in the name of the folders that I want to ignore. my project env is something I want to ignore. I don't want to use this my project env inside my repository because I know that I can create this huge folder anytime using this requirements.txt file. So I don't want to push it. At the same time, I don't want to push this db.sqlite tree because it's going to grow with time and I don't want to push it. I want to use, first of all, I'll be using another database that I'll show you very soon. But once again, I just want to put this db.sqlite tree. Control S to save. I don't want to push this db.sqlite tree to my Git. Is there anything else that I want to ignore? Yes, I want to ignore this .vs code because this is a folder created by Visual Studio Code. And why would I push this as a part of this project? Definitely not. I'm not going to push this to GitHub. Okay. I'll save, and once I save this, what I'll do is I'll simply initialize this project. So I'll say git init. Now you don't have to use git, but I just want to initialize this as a Git repository and push it to Git. If you're getting uncomfortable, I just want to stop and not use Git because you might get uncomfortable and think, why would I teach Git inside a Django project? But believe me, Git is super simple. So let us just initialize the repository and I'll explain you what it will do. So once you say git init, it will initialize this repository as a Git repository. And you are just saying that this folder is now a Git repository. Can you see this my project env and db.sqlite tree grayed out? This simply means that these two folders are inside Git Ignore and Git is not tracking them. Okay, once you change any file, they'll be tracked by Git. So you can keep changing the files and all the changes will be tracked and you can roll back, and it's really an awesome tool. We'll cover Git in some other videos someday, but at this point just fire two commands blindly. Git add dot will add all the files to staging area, and git commit -m initial commit. This will create a commit. And why I'm using Git here? I'm using Git just to track my project. With time, I'll be changing my files a lot and I want them to be tracked by Git. This is because I don't want to see anything wrong happening while I'm coding and deploying things. Okay, so this is something that I want to do. And I think this is it for now. I will come back in the next video and show you how to deploy this Django blog inside a VM. I hope you got the concept of virtual environment, and it is really super simple to use a virtual environment, in my opinion. If you haven't already accessed my Django playlist, I think you should definitely access it because this is a place where I've added all the videos, and this is a place where I have step by step explained you all the things. We have created project in increasing level of difficulty. So I hope you will enjoy if you access this playlist. So if you haven't already liked this video, I want you guys to like this video, please. And thank you so much guys for watching this video, and I will see you next time.